Good morning. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa. So happy to see you this morning. Hmm. So let's start with meditation. Take your attention inside, pulling it all the way down to the tip of the tailbone. And then connecting to the earth. You've instructed Rebecca to change the meditation to have it be the highest possible vision for humanity going forward. Because without a vision, the lowest common denominator tends to be the most powerful. But when humanity can focus on a vision beyond the experiment of the pursuit of happiness, then something higher and finer can happen. The last vision was based on the pursuit of happiness, the inalienable right to pursue happiness. This is not a bad vision. But without a more articulated vision that includes equality for the whole and interdependence throughout the realms of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, which includes our physical world, our relationship to the earth, to the solar system, to the galaxy, and beyond. So there has to be attention to interdependence and the place of humanity in the scheme of the whole, and a desire for harmony, not just the pursuit of individual happiness, but happiness for the whole, which is what peace is. And you see, if everyone can hold the same intention, then instantly it will be reality. So holding our intention for merging with the highest intention possible, linking our personal power with divine power to vision for the highest best for the whole, is how we create the energetic focus that can attract and mobilize the change for the highest. So we begin inside ourselves, breathing in the light, exhaling the light, then breathing in the dark. Exhaling the dark, allowing both the light and the dark to consume us as we alternate between the two, holding our attention on the tailbone. So that we're completely grounded in our physical body. As we hold our attention in the space between the breaths. Understanding that the highest is the space between the dark and the light that encompasses both. So we begin to clear our space of everything that no longer serves with our breath. First, inhabiting the space between the breaths at the tip of the tailbone. Feeling for the gentle motion back on the inhale and forward on the exhale. As we merge with the deepest pulse within us. Allow your attention to move up to the space below the belly button. Feeling into the center between the breaths. You're ready. Gently allow your attention to rise to the solar plexus. Breathing into the space between the breaths. Gently moving to the heart center. Feeling into the back behind the heart center. Breathing into that space. When you're ready, gently take your attention to your throat center. Clearing your throat to be able to speak the truth. Holding to the space between the breaths. Which links us to the divine. Feeling through the roof of the mouth to the third eye, behind and between the eyebrows. Feeling the opening of the high heart, linking the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the energy center above the head. Feeling the powerful grounding into the earth and above the head as we experience ourselves as an interdependent whole. As we breathe the light and the dark and experience ourselves in the balance point between the two. All parts are welcome. Simplicity is found in the center. Breathe into the exquisite sensation of being alive. Thank you for coming this morning. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. We're happy to be with you. We welcome your feedback, questions, answers, and experience. How may we serve this morning? How's everybody doing? Please.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me? Hi, Constance. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, good. Okay. We have a sound bar so that we can hear everybody, but
Uh-huh.
I have to disconnect it in order to speak with you. So it's very interesting.
Does that mean
Sometimes
you can't hear?
I can hear you, but you're definitely diminished in volume. Um,
Okay.
but I can still hear you. Uh, I just wanted to say this week has been about looking at the source of stamina and resilience. Um, it's very important at this stage of my life that I am aware of the source of those things. Um, what I discovered was that it's very dependent on my attitude and my thoughts. If I have a series of negative, worrisome, anxious thoughts, my energy level goes way down. And shifting my attitude isn't impossible, but it does take attention and some work. Um, First of all, I have to notice what my thoughts are about and what my attitude towards everything is, and then somehow correct them. By looking at them, it sort of starts moving, but to correct it entirely is not quite so easy. It does take kind of dedication to it over time. Anyway, I just that you asked how we were doing, and that's what's up for me at this point.
Well, yes, it is work. And the first work is attention, noticing where we really are. It's absolutely right. And often in that noticing, the shift itself happens because we're willing to take responsibility for noticing, then the change, our intention connects to the change we're trying to make. And that's that's 50% of the work. We lost you.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It takes a few seconds in order to shift over from one thing to the other. So, the attention, as you were saying, um, opens up the space. It's not it's not in itself the correction, but it opens up the space for the correction to happen, and that's when the intention um, is important. I have to actually say what I want.
Yes. We totally agree with that. And we also like that you're making the connection between, it's not exactly fatigue, but not having the quality of energy that you're used to because it's dumbed down in, you know, usually in negative thought patterns. And so refocusing the energy that we do have to accepting what we're doing and reclaiming our energy to move forward in a positive way is, I mean, that's the whole path, really. That's the essence of, in a nutshell, personal evolution. And once we're on the bandwagon of our own personal evolution, then we can expand it to embrace the whole. And we're speaking of this interdependence because this is how we begin to speak to others about the shift that needs to happen for humanity to evolve.
That, see, that was very interesting what you were saying, because I definitely have felt a disconnect with the whole of humanity. I mean, I in the abstract, I can sort of see humanity is a part of the cosmos and a part of the planet. Um, and so it would be wonderful to uplevel that. And, all Miss Americas wish for world peace. And so it's been overdone, in a way. Um, I have a hard time even believing that it's possible.
Well, the first thing, of course, is finding peace within ourselves. And as we expand that, then we understand what it is. Peace is a balance point. It's not a done deal.
Yeah, it doesn't
We are
stay.
in we are in the intersection of so many dynamic systems we can't begin to imagine it. So we focus on our own evolution and we understand that the evolution of the whole, that there is a simplicity of connection, and that each person that evolves links automatically to that energy. And so we only have to worry about our own evolution. We
That's
only,
really good.
yes. And then as we focus that, we intentionally connect to everyone else on that level.
We don't have to make it happen.
No, it's allowing it to happen.
Right. One
All,
of the things, yeah,
all of it is about allowing. And, our great fear is that in allowing, we're going to allow our violence to come forward.
well, I had to reckon with that because it did. I mean, I saw what it was and where it comes from. It was easier to understand the violence in humanity, seeing it
This is
in
the
myself.
essence of empathy. Empathy is nothing but self-acceptance, acceptance of our own potential for violence, understanding that we are responsible for our actions.
And controlling that is not so easy because of all the emotions, it seems to be the most automatic because it's triggered from outside. It doesn't seem to be, it's like a wild thing and it just pops up. Um, so it's kind of wondering how to, it doesn't come up very much anymore, but when it does, I'd like to have something. I don't have time for a mantra in the space. It's like I'm triggered and it happens. It comes out.
So you breathe. You try to get the breath in first. If you can get the breath in first, you're saved.
There's a little I don't know if it was Sesame Street or something like that, but it's like they say when your anger arrives, count to four and breathe. I mean, it's really a simple little ditty, but it really made sense to me. And the kids got it.
Yes. And, that's the beauty of that whole program is that the kids get it. And they get it before they're corrupted. Or, you know, if we're lucky, they get it before they're corrupted. Mhm. Mm. Beautiful work.
Thank you. That was lovely. I know about breathing there, but in that instant, and yet, well, I don't know how to get it so that then I remember to breathe.
Yes, well, we understand there's something compelling about that sense of self-righteousness when we're, you know, ready
Yeah.
to blow, so to speak. But there is possibility for the recognition of that self-righteousness as
Well,
something.
that has been um, a lifelong learning experience for me. Um, I come from a long line of self-righteous people, and um, in the very nicest way, I must say. But nonetheless, one of the things that became aware of is self-importance, self-satisfaction, and self-indulgence um, are the three biggies. Um, it's hard not to be self-important because, you know, I'm me. I, I'm the only me that I have, and that seems really important. I'm joking about it, but I that's something to watch me. Um, always getting that. One of the things that came to me a while back is that if it's possible for me to correct and evolve, perhaps, um, it might be possible for the whole. That's the way that I look at it.
Of course, that's how we learn that it's possible. And then the refinement we're adding is projecting our intention for the whole to evolve. Because this is really important. Unless we have a vision and an intention for the whole to evolve, it's not going to happen. And so this has to be part of our meditation that we spend a minute at the end in prayer for the whole to evolve. Doesn't take a lot, but a minute at the end for those who don't know about the possibility of evolution. May they be informed. May all beings be free. There's a reason that these are part of the practices of those who came before us. And it is really a prayer for the evolution of humanity.
It
And
hasn't happened. It I I have a little stumbling block there because my mind says it seems quite unlikely. Um, it's at least in my lifetime that
we have
that
no
could happen.
idea. Look how fast things can change.
Yeah, but for the worse, that's what it seems like. Um,
They could be for the
I
better
don't see
just as
I
fast.
don't see, I don't see things changing for the better for the whole. For individuals, for the people that I am connected with, yes. But for the whole, boy, that's hard to see the possibility for that, for me anyway.
This has been the role of the messiahs in the past, changing the whole. But,
Did it ever
it's
work?
true. We crucify messiahs.
Yeah. And did it ever work? Did humanity ever up level?
We don't know. We don't know. If if it happened, there would be a pathway to follow. All we can do is up level ourselves and pray for the whole. Vision for the whole. Because without the vision, there is no possibility. And if we give up because we've never seen it, we never will see it. It's like giving up on ourselves. In the early days when we see how much work we have to do and we suddenly go, oh my God, there is no way this is going to happen in one lifetime. We may still be correct about that, but we must hold the vision for ourselves and for the whole, because it's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen if those of us who have the opportunity for critical thinking and inner work do not include the whole in our prayers. It will never happen.
One of the things that's become really obvious is that, well, it was put this way that evil is giving up. I mean,
Yes. So here's the energetic expansion that we've been shown, just so you see in yourself that what happens is that as the energy inside a person opens and flows up and out the top of the head, it actually does this and it encompasses the whole. And so it's allowing ourselves to become that. The image is the lotus unfolding into the flower. And this is us. This is what we are. That's why that image has been so timeless. And the unfolding is the inclusiveness of the whole. And when we understand that as we open up, then we truly open up and it contains everything, that's what our practice is. And that's the vision. And it is completely inclusive, and anything else is just focusing on limitation. Not just, it is focusing on limitation. And as we cannot accept limitation within our own work, we can't accept it for the whole either. And
Someone said recently, without mud, no lotus. And that
exactly.
really, I love visual images of truth. And that one hit home because I've been seeing a lot of mud.
Right. See, the real image has to do with interdependence. And the other word for interdependence, which is so hard for us as human beings because we have bought into the idea of limited resource. And as long as we believe in limited resource, then sharing is a mistake. And interdependence is a code word for sharing. And sharing is what makes everything happen in abundance. And so that's also what this vision of opening is about, because it's really about sharing. And as long as we feel like we have to protect everything that we have and everything that we are and every thought and every, the need to protect is endlessly reductive.
It
And
was put to us coming from scarcity.
exactly.
And that the fact is, if you're not wanting more than enough, there's plenty to share. I mean,
Well, it's
each
not
each
even
human.
wanting more than enough. That's still involved in scarcity.
Well, what I'm saying is, there are needs. There's food, shelter, blah blah blah, and if your needs are covered, if everyone's needs were just covered, there'd be obviously enough to share.
Of-
Right now, it's not obvious to most people,
Well,
I would think.
we have to pull ourselves out of that discussion so that we are living from abundance and we are willing abundance for the whole. And everyone on this call is living from abundance. We have been blessed to experience it in this life, in this moment. And so we have the room to be inclusive. And it's really important that we do it and that we vision the highest and that we hold to it. Because if we don't do it, it's not going to happen. And it's not about saving anybody else. It's not about that. It's actually the most practical thing we could possibly do to contribute to the whole is to open and expand, be inclusive in our love, hold to making our commitment to love available to every life that our life touches. That's what this vision is. It's not impractical.
Yeah, that's it.
And that also puts us in touch with the gratitude for our every blessings, every blessing we can count, which is considerable. And then from that place, that expansion is natural.
One of the things that comes really naturally these days is waking up with gratitude. Gratitude for waking up, for one thing, and then for the things that unfold. It's especially easy in the summertime. I go out on the porch and it is so miraculous. I mean, the miracles are just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so gratitude is
Yeah,
it
easy to
fills my
access.
day.
Yeah, it's easy to access in the summer. We're with you.
Well, thank you so much.
Mm, totally welcome. Thank you.
I feel fortified.
We'll say something else about this expansion, as you feel into it, that when we are open and flowing, the idea of not waking up is not so threatening because we have a sense of that openness. And how transcendent that openness is of the body. Because it's not that the body goes, it's just not so relevant in that open space. It is also our experience over and over and over that that open space itself contains guidance, that that open space, the loneliness we anticipate in open space is not an experience that we've encountered. Although the fear of that loneliness is built into the system. Does that make any sense? Can't hear.
Give it a minute.
There you go.
It takes a minute for me to unplug you and then plug you back in again. So, so yes, it does make sense.
Good.
It makes sense in a strange way. It's like at one point in my life, I could see something so large, and yet it was the void. And I wondered about that, and I asked one of my teachers about that, and they said they'd get back to me. Uh, I don't think they ever did. Anyway, that's, I think, touches on what you were talking about, the the fear of being alone. It's not really that, but there's something there. Uh,
It is
Never
very
mind.
much that. It is very much that. It's the fear of being alone and the sense that that vastness, that vast open space is a vacuum and that we will be forever alone in a vacuum.
And yet I have had the experience of that it is filled with what we call love. It's
Exactly.
more than that. I mean, it's almost unfathomable what it is, but love is the word that we use for it. And my, my dad used to say when anything challenging came up for us, him, everybody, anybody, God is love. And that comes automatically to me now when I'm up against anything. I it wasn't until I was an adult that I really got what that was. It was just something that I said when I was a child. And then as I got older, I could see, oh, yeah, God is love. Oh, okay. I get it now, kind of. I mean, as much as my little brain can get. And I thank him for that. Uh, that was such a good ingredient. My mom's ingredient was stamina and resilience, which is what I started out talking about today. She had that amazingly. Lived to 102 too with it. But I don't need to live to 102, that's for sure. Um, but I always thank them for it, for what they passed along in their way of being and their way of teaching. Anyway, uh, I'm rambling
You.
now, and I will plug you back in.
How lucky for you to have that instilled in you so young. So wonderful. We had a different kind of luck. We were raised by the angels. The intensity of the environment we were poured into just made this happen. What else today? How may we serve? Hmm. 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 So it's endless. You know, we had a teacher once who said trying to be perfect in ourselves is like trying to put 5 fingers on 5 fleas. We are a dynamic system. And when we end up disappointing ourselves, that's not failure. It's a new level of evolution. It means that we have risen to a place that we have yet to evolve. And it may look exactly like what we think we've been struggling with our entire lives. It's not the same. It's a new level. We have leveled up. So a sense of disappointment in ourselves for not being what we think an evolved person feels like or looks like, just is shooting ourselves in the foot. Instead, we should be celebrating a new level of evolution that has allowed us to process a deeper level of frustration and sense of failure. There's never a reason to reject ourselves. Understanding that is a huge shift in awareness. That the work part of the work is getting over the idea that there's an arrival point. There is no arrival point. There is only more work. And when we understand that, the self-acceptance is not based in accomplishment, but in rolling up our sleeves and embracing the next level of evolution. Understanding that our sense of failure is a lineage belief that evolution is not work, or that there is an end to the work of evolution. And that end will be recognizable. And after that, we don't have to do anything but live in bliss.
You'll be on a cloud.
This is not our experience, and it's not the experience of anybody we have ever met.
Yeah. I really get what you're saying about feeling disappointed in myself. I have been so fortunate to have wonderful teachers. You are the latest one, and the thought has come often with all this support and help and guidance and love. Why aren't I better? um, but what you just said was makes total sense. It's not linear, and you never get over yourself. It in a way, I have the same work to do that I had when I was in my 20s and recognized that there was work to do. It's the same things that come up over and over again. And that's what I was disappointed with. Couldn't I be over some things, Um, but what you said is that you don't get over it. You, but you can go to a new level of addressing it. And that makes really good sense and is very freeing in a way.
Well, it's our expectations that create our limitations. We expect that there is an arrival point, and we feel it. We experience expansion when an understanding changes. And so we experience that as arrival. And then when the expansion contracts, we think we've failed. But it's really about this whole process and experiencing it as process of expansion and contraction and continuous evolution is not expecting only expansion.
Oh, that's really helpful.
Yeah, so we can stop shooting ourselves in the foot whenever we experience contraction. You say, oh, this is contraction. Woe is me.
And the contraction seems, when I'm in the contraction, it seems like it's going to be that way forever. I mean, now I'm on the downhill.
Same is true
Um,
of the expansion. This is why it's so seductive. They're both seductive, and they are both the leprechaun telling us we don't have to do any work. Both in the expansion and the contraction. Okay, woe is me. I'm done. I'm a failure. The work is useless. And so is oh, I've arrived. I'm going to be here forever. I'm done. That is also equal illusion.
yeah, that would have been
It's the
nice.
same as the
Uh,
light and the dark. It's the space in between that is where we can breathe, where we can know that we're whole in both the light and the dark. This is the meaning of samsara and nirvana are the same. We are always going to be in one or the other polarity. But when we accept that the polarity is not going to disappear and we find that center in ourselves, then we're really honest and true. And it no longer matters whether we're in the contraction or the expansion. Does that make sense?
yes, it does. And it really, my dad used to say, this too shall pass. And I've had to get uh, friendly with the contraction part and
Right. We have
let
to
it be.
remind ourselves because we forget over and over and over that it's the space in between that's the reality. That's what's real. And that is the entrance into that ecstatic presence, which accepts both contraction and expansion as reality. And whichever happens to be present is the moment.
I was just told, um, acceptance for today and innocence for tomorrow.
Beautifully said. So let's go into our meditation for a few more minutes. It's such a joy to be with you, really. Mm. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We've really enjoyed our time with you. So much love. Bye for now.